Okay, Allison, I do not have a frisbee. This is going to be my frisbee. So everything you're doing is great. You're waiting for the dog and you say yes, and then you throw the toy. That is perfect. So the next part, okay, that's the beginning of impulse control, like you said. It's not really impulse control. It's more like the dog doing the cue because you're saying sit, right? And then when the dog sits, you're using it as a reward. So it's not really impulse control. Impulse control is the dog does something without being formally verbally cued. The reality is that we're always giving off cues, even if you stand around and you don't say anything. If you're standing by their toy or their food or the back door, they know certain things are going to happen. So, it's like you're giving a cue even if you're not giving a command. Okay, but forget about all that. I'm talking about straight verbal command, cue, do this, do that. That's what you're doing. He's getting a lot better at that. I like it, or she is, and I like how you're doing that. Okay, now we're going to work on that other part where the dog is and jumping up and really grabbing the toy. And then one time, you got mad and he said no, and then you felt a little guilty, and then you were like, yeah, it's okay. All right, so we have to be very, very patient. We don't want to be in a situation where we say no, but it is okay. It happens. I have done it with every single dog I've ever owned, including these puppies. It is natural. You're going to get angry. Sometimes they're going to bite you. Even if they don't bite you, you're going to get angry that they're jumping all over you and stuff like that. Very, very natural. So you just want to try and minimize that. Don't worry. You're not damaging your dog or anything. Your dog seems to be pretty toy driven. Okay, because your dog is toy driven, this is what we're going to do. So you have the frisbee here like this, right? I don't want you to hide it and move it all around, because actually what that looks like is the game. It looks like the enticement game where you're shaking it around and you're moving it. It looks like you want the dog to chase it, right? The behavior is too similar. So what I do is take the frisbee and I squish it up as much as I can, and I hide it in my hand, or I put my hands all around it. See, even if it sticks out a little bit, it's mostly on my hand, and then I move my hands like this. So no matter where the dog tries, let's say a bit of it is hanging out like this, and the dog tries to get it. They can't get it, and if I move it around, they're gonna bite my hand, okay? And the dog does not wanna bite your hand, okay? And they're gonna get frustrated, they might paw, right? But I put it down right, like even in their face. I don't hide it. I just keep it here. I don't put it here because then they jump up. Okay, so I put it down right by their dog, right by their face, and I just hold it there, okay? Eventually, the dog, for just a moment, is gonna stop. It's just like when we put the treat in our hand, the It's Your Choice game, if you've ever heard of that. Same thing, impulse control. Old, decades-long trick used by handlers, trainers, dog trainers. The dog lets go, then you open your hand, you let him have it. Same thing here. The dog's gonna sit. They don't even have to sit. They just need to move away and stop barking. Then you're gonna say yes, pop it open, throw the frisbee. Okay? So then you're gonna get it back again. You're gonna do the same thing. Right, the dog's going to be jumping. Instead of doing this, we're just fold it up as best we can, put it around the dog, hold it here. They stop, they sit, then you say yes, and you throw it again. Okay? Keep doing that, and in 1 or 2 sessions, less than 20 repetitions, the dog is going to stop lunging. Now you can start being tricky. You can start moving it around. You can do like this. Oh, and then when they jump at it, you just ignore them, and then move it a little less. Then they'll stop. Then you throw it. Yes, throw. Okay. Then the next one. Now you can move it a little bit. You can shake it, and then they're just sitting and they're staring. You say yes, and then you throw it. Right. Then after several sessions, you don't have to cover the whole thing. You let a little bit of it stick out. Right, and then move it in front of the dog. They're going to try and grab it. If they do, you can say no if you want, but you just put your hands back over it, get it back from the dog, right, and start over. Okay, but eventually you're going to be able to have it open in your hands, and then you're going to be able to move it around. Yes, and then throw, but only while the dog's staying. As soon as the dog is jumping, you immediately wrap it up. Like if the dog starts jumping and stuff, I wrap it back up. I make it harder. But that's their little bonus. I let it flop out. And then eventually you'll be able to touch the dog, right? Like I get the toy, and then eventually I move it, and then I rub it on the dog's face, their nose, like this. And then I say yes, and then I throw it. And they will never grab at it, okay? So that's the next part. I want to do that for you. And then we can start talking about hiding the toy on your body while you run courses and things like that.